A very special thank you to the Buffalo Philharmonic Orchestra for their magnificent out-of-the-box Buffalo City Hall performance that opened our virtual program today. Now, it is my honor to introduce the Mayor of the City of Buffalo, Byron W. Brown, for his 15th annual State of the City Address.
Welcome to my 15th annual State of the City Address. Although we can't be together in one room, we can take the next few minutes to collectively reflect on all that has changed over the last year for all of us and remind ourselves that we are all in this together. We are compassionate, kind, and resilient. We are committed, supportive, and generous. We do good. We get better. We are Buffalo, and I am proud to report to you today that the state of the City of Buffalo is strong and getting stronger. 2020 will be remembered as the year of the pandemic, the year that the world ground to a halt and so many were stricken by fear, grief, loss, and tragedy. The toll that this has taken on us cannot be fully measured, but what we can measure are all of the positive things that so many did in the long days, weeks, and months of the last year to overcome crisis. We scaled up our services and invested in our critical infrastructure. We advanced our commitment in the quest for equity, opportunity, and justice for all. We identified best practices and sensible solutions to the problems plaguing municipalities across the country, and we emerged as leaders in innovation, collaboration, and service delivery. For every challenge we have confronted, we have identified a good way to overcome it, a better way to do things that will make us successful, and created a Buffalo blueprint for success, the standard for cities who aspire to be safer, smarter, stronger, and healthier in the decades ahead. Last March, the state of New York mandated that we reduce our in-person workforce by half, and then by even more. Remote work became the priority, and physical distancing among people became one of the most important weapons we had against the spread of the coronavirus. My administration, every single department and agency immediately got to work, setting up our white-collar workforce to function remotely. We developed and executed plans with immense support from our municipal labor unions to keep both our frontline workers and our residents safe. A shortage of masks saw companies and individuals across our city and state stepping up to donate, make, and distribute PPE to keep people safe. Seizing on the efficiencies of the benefits of virtual work, we thought big. It was good to reduce our in-person workforce in accordance with the governor's emergency orders. It was better to build out a reliable and safe work-from-home environment to enhance city services at a time of great uncertainty. It was Buffalo that realized the tremendous positive environmental impacts remote work provides, and we announced our 60-40 flexible scheduling plan to reduce our carbon footprint, lessen downtown motorists and parking congestion, and have us continue our path of becoming a climate refuge city of the future. In a similar way, we actively encourage people to support the pickup, takeout, and delivery options offered by our businesses and restaurants. We stood up a 100% virtual employment center with counseling, referrals, and job placements for our residents. That was good. We made shopping safe at the Broadway Market, created a small business social distancing initiative, and launched Reopen Buffalo. This was better. By the time winter returned, we had established guidelines for parties on the patios and in the streets, developed a Buy Black Buffalo campaign, and worked with Buffalo Bill Josh Norman's STARS 24 Foundation to raise and distribute more than $500,000 in direct aid as part of the Buffalo Business Blitz. That's Buffalo. I'd like to personally thank Wegmans, Rich Products, and Westminster Economic Development Initiative for making significant contributions to the thousands of Western New York residents who contributed, and Josh Norman for kickstarting the effort with a significant personal donation and spearheading this campaign, which assisted hundreds of Buffalo businesses. The early days of the pandemic challenged each of us to step up and to sacrifice to keep each other safe. My administration stood up an online COVID-19 information hub, organized and executed dozens of mask and food giveaways for our most vulnerable residents. This was good. When our frontline workers at hospitals in the city were treating a surge in COVID-19 patients, literally putting their lives on the line, we honored them on Nurses Day, and we provided food and support as often as we could while celebrating the remarkable recoveries of the patients they were able to save. That was better. We also recognized that our elderly and vulnerable residents were struggling, so we stood up the nationally recognized Good Neighbors Network and provided a safe, easy, and effective way to request wellness checks and assistance from our frontline city workers and hundreds of volunteers. That is the city of good neighbors at work. That is Buffalo. I'm proud to say we utilize the same steady, smart, and carefully planned approach to withstand the impacts of the pandemic on our budget. We also recognized that the last thing we wanted to do during an economic or unemployment crisis was to lay people off or not hold the line on taxes. We borrowed money at record low interest rates and ensured that our workforce kept working and that we provided critical frontline and emergency services to keep our community safe and our city running. That was good. We appealed to the federal government to provide a stimulus package that would stimulate the economy towards sustained growth going forward. That was better. I'm happy to report to you today, not one city employee was laid off as a result of the pandemic. Our budget is balancing, and we are exceeding revenue expectations in many areas. We are poised to benefit from the stimulus package making its way through Congress, which will enable us to accelerate our community investments, enhance our people's infrastructure agenda, and resume economic development citywide. By heeding the advice of economic experts and weathering the storm without an overreaction that could have threatened our ability to recover, we are nearing the point where we are able to say that we have achieved one of the best fiscal positions in the history of our city, Buffalo. The influx of resources to the city at this critical time is also allowing us to accelerate our efforts to combat the persistent problems facing our most vulnerable residents. We suspended late fees for water and sewer bills, restored service to households who had their water turned off and launched a water amnesty program and a residential water affordability program. That was good. Then we utilized every dollar possible to replace old lead lines at almost 500 residences, ensuring clean drinking water. We have also added certified lead inspectors who inspect and cause landlords to abate lead paint from residential units. That was better. I want to thank M&T Bank and Key Bank, who have both committed $1 million each to capitalize a revolving loan fund that will provide small landlords the resources they need to bring their units up to code. We are utilizing funding to prevent evictions and foreclosures, ensure fair housing, and provide owner and rental housing rehab. We are providing millions in micro-enterprise assistance and enhancing digital inclusion under our Stand Up Buffalo program. Finding the partners and the opportunity in this challenging time to ensure safe, affordable, and healthy housing units for all of our residents, that is what we do in Buffalo. The think outside the box, implement creative approaches, and scale it up to new heights approach is not new to my administration. Looking back quickly, when I first took office, our parks were in disrepair. We invested heavily in our Olmsted and neighborhood parks. That was good. We consistently increased our commitment to parks revitalization, which has reached $77 million since 2006, entered into a landmark 10-year pact with the Olmsted Parks Conservancy. That was better. Last year, we produced an online walking parks and trails guide, which provides maps of 25 different walking, jogging, and cycling paths residents used for exercise and recreation as the weather turned warmer. Now, the Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Foundation is in the process of transforming what was formerly LaSalle Park into Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Centennial Park. When completed in 2024, this magnificent park will be the single largest parks investment in the city's history and will bring a world-class park to Buffalo's waterfront. We have zeroed in on issues that often get overlooked, but are critically important to our long-term health and sustainability. As the wildfires rage across California and hurricanes batter our nation's coastlines, the time to change our ways is upon us. Now, we are not just controlling waste, we are partnering to develop green renewable energy sources, including a new smart sewer system and a broader Complete Streets initiative. We will ensure that smart green technology improves every community and enhances mobility in and around our city. We recognize the great responsibility we have to future generations, and Buffalo is embracing it. In another look back, when I first became mayor, we said farewell to our old friend the Aud, which had been a good home for our Buffalo Sabres. The construction of Key Bank Arena was better and has served our community well. The transformation of a city-owned surface parking lot known as Harbor Center with 2 world-class hockey rinks sitting below a full-service hotel, that is Buffalo. Things many never thought possible in this city haven't just been imagined, they've been built. One of the most important issues I've tackled as mayor every day over the past 15 years has been creating opportunities for everyone in our city. Even before I was mayor, I sponsored a summer reading program which now includes thousands of children every year and went virtual for the first time in 2020. That is really good. Then we enhanced the Mayor's Summer Youth Employment Program to provide teenagers and young adults with real work experiences during the summer months, which played a valuable role in our Census 2020 effort to get everyone counted. That was better. But we were still missing the final component, a place where residents can accelerate their professional development. The Northland Workforce Training Center was born. We now have pipelines to well-paying jobs and careers for our young people. The goal for 2020 at Northland Central was to attract additional tenants that would complement the Northland Workforce Training Center and Buffalo Manufacturing Works. Amazingly, the facility has reached 98% occupancy. In 2021, Northland Central will become the home of a state-of-the-art interactive Bank on Buffalo branch, which will serve the surrounding East Side community in the Northland corridor. The City of Buffalo Opportunity Pledge has been signed by almost every major employer and organization in Buffalo, and thousands committed to working together for diversity, inclusion, and opportunity for all of our residents. That is Buffalo. We invest in our youth and our future. We've seen the same trajectory take flight in the tech sector. We developed a strong partnership with M&T Bank that resulted in high-speed broadband installation in our downtown core and provided a basic infrastructure for us to build out across the city. That was good. Last year, M&T Bank announced that it will be creating approximately 1,000 new jobs in its tech hub at Seneca One, making it the center of innovation and tech career opportunities. That was better. This past year, my administration entered into a creative partnership with Smart City Capital that will develop a roadmap for the city to develop our intelligent city infrastructure in a way that will get us to net zero carbon emissions, smart cars, and transportation technologies, and green energy sources in the very near future. That is the future of Buffalo. We first returned cars to the 700 block of Main Street to revive our downtown business core. Businesses moved in and started to thrive there. That was good. Working with our federal partners, we extended this work into the 500 and 600 blocks of Main Street, and new businesses have emerged in that stretch. That was better. We are now planning to complete the expansion of cars sharing Main Street to Seneca One with a direct connection to the new train station on Exchange Street, Harbor Center, and the arena. This is smart, connective, and unifying. That is Buffalo. Not only is Douglas Development completing a top-to-bottom renovation of the Seneca One Tower and transforming the old Buffalo Police Headquarters, which was good, now they are planning another building downtown and improving the Hyatt, which is even better. But on top of that, they are bringing the Statler back to life and restoring it to its original splendor. That is Buffalo. Douglas Jamal has embraced our city's pride and optimism with his Go Really Big approach. His true appreciation for Buffalo's architectural heritage will contribute to the rapid rise we anticipate in the tourism industry when the pandemic ends. In case you missed it, last year Buffalo was named number 7 on the Travel and Leisure list of the 50 best places to travel in 2021. Another bright spot on our horizon has been realized through our embrace of New York's favorable tax treatment of movie productions and our commitment to making Buffalo a player in an industry that provides billions of dollars in opportunities and economic impacts year in and year out. It was good to have movies like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 and The Purge film portions of their movies here. It was better to have Marshall and Colebrook filmed here in a way that celebrated some of our iconic architecture, making our city a central character in each of those movies. It was Buffalo to have Guillermo del Toro and Bradley Cooper shooting Nightmare Alley in Niagara Square and at City Hall, while transforming the space into a bygone era for that period piece which completed shooting just before the shutdown and will be released in December. Paramount Pictures will release A Quiet Place Part 2, directed by John Krasinski in September. And I can also announce today that Paramount Pictures is returning to shoot an unnamed feature movie here later this month. We thank Paramount Pictures for their partnership and their love of Buffalo. This is the third major motion picture that the studio has brought to Buffalo over the past few years. It is also truly extraordinary that we are planning to break ground on Great Point Studios, a $50 million film and television studio developed just off the campus of Rich Products on the re-engineered Niagara Street. Additionally, a 27-acre, $75 million movie set is being planned for a location on the banks of the Buffalo River. We once again embraced the future, pushed an innovative idea, and are now building it out to proportions we could not have first imagined. That is quintessential Buffalo. We found ourselves in some unique places to turn the tragedy of the pandemic into a triumph in civic pride. First, when the Toronto Blue Jays made Salem Field and the city of Buffalo home to Major League Baseball this past summer, it has been a priority of my administration over the years to invest in Salem Field and keep downtown baseball as a vibrant part of the spring and summer experience in Buffalo. These investments were a good way to keep our Buffalo Bisons comfortable and competitive at the minor league level. Expanding the use of Salem Field for the annual Buffalo Wing Festival and summer concerts was an even better way to maximize the impact of this city-owned facility. Then, having the Toronto Blue Jays play their home games here in a time when professional sports were elevated from reliable entertainment to one of the few sources of enjoyment as the pandemic raged, that's Buffalo. And just as importantly, we have recently seen our beloved Buffalo Bills emerge as a team of extraordinary young men with both the temperament and the talent to predict an incredibly bright future for our team. 3 years ago, we saw our playoff drought snapped by a strong finish and unlikely touchdown thrown by the Bengals quarterback that catapulted us into the playoffs. That was good. Last year, when our young team put us back into the playoffs by their own doing, that was even better. And finally, this year, our Bills won their division, hosted and won 2 playoff games, and got us to the doorstep of the Super Bowl. Now that's Buffalo. We're looking ahead to a bright, winning future. As a city government, my administration understands the importance of hope in dark times, and nothing gives Buffalo hope like our Bills. When we won the AFC East Division Championship, we put up a banner to mark the accomplishment in front of City Hall. That was good. After we won our first playoff game, we adorned City Hall with a series of banners and painted the bollards in front of the building in support of our team. That was better. And we transformed the steps of City Hall into a selfie station and Niagara Square into Bill's MAFIA Square, complete with signage temporarily renaming our streets in support of our team's leadership, coach, and players. In true Buffalo fashion, thousands of the Bills faithful descended on the square to celebrate our team safely. That is what we do in Buffalo. We have seen this same trajectory in support of our team by our incredibly generous Western New York fan base, the Bills Mafia. 3 years ago, our fans donated nearly $500,000 to Andy Dalton's Cincinnati-based foundation to thank him for that miracle play that got our team into the playoffs. That was good. This past year, our fans donated approximately $500,000 to Lamar Jackson's charity after he was injured in our last home playoff win over the Baltimore Ravens. That was better. But in true Buffalo fashion, our fans rose to the occasion and donated over $1 million to the Oshai Children's Hospital in honor of the memory of Josh Allen's late grandmother, who now has a wing in the hospital named after her. We are a great city. In all we do, we embrace a challenge, shape and sculpt solutions that make things better than they were before, and then we achieve extraordinary results here in the city of Buffalo. As we all know, this past summer was one of protest, reflection, reckoning, as the anger and heartbreak over the murders of George Floyd and so many other Black lives compelled residents in cities across America to confront systemic racism and demand that it come to an end. We were held accountable for the way in which we police our communities, and the long overdue need for swift change was apparent. We began by formally banning chokeholds that have unnecessarily taken the lives of Black people in police custody. We demanded more accountability from our police department by providing motorists with stop receipts anytime they were pulled over. This was a good start. We also directed the issuance of appearance tickets for all but the most dangerous offenses that require a custodial arrest, reduced or eliminated dozens of fines and fees associated with traffic violations, and formed a blue ribbon commission on police reform and social reconstruction to make recommendations on how we can revolutionize community policing for the 21st century. That was better. The Buffalo Blueprint for the Future of Policing is currently taking shape. We've invested in non-lethal options for police officers to utilize to keep everyone safe in police interactions. We've created and deployed a specially trained behavioral health team to respond to mental health calls, along with mental health professionals from Endeavor Health Services. More than 125 diversions from jail or emergency rooms have been achieved by this team in a few short months. We are finalizing a LEAD program to divert individuals away from the criminal justice system and towards mental health and addiction recovery services. We're demanding career residency for police officers, annual performance reviews and evaluations at minimum, as well as mandatory de-escalation trainings for our police officers as part of any new collective bargaining agreement. When Josh Norman visited me to discuss police reforms and the push for social and racial justice across the country, he said he found that most places weren't really interested in admitting there was a problem, but Buffalo was already addressing it. From BPD 21C and knocking down impediments to diversifying our police force, career residency to make our police officers more connected and respectful of our communities, and adopting best practices for restorative policing and justice, and setting a new cultural tone in the city of Buffalo by making Juneteenth an official paid holiday for city employees to celebrate Black history and heritage. I am confident that once all of our reforms are fully operational, Buffalo will be a model community when it comes to policing and racial equity, and that time is not years away, but in the near short term because of our long-standing commitment to addressing these issues. One of my top priorities, nearest and dearest to my heart, has been investing resources in the people and the neighborhoods on the east side of Buffalo. As a council member and state senator, I worked tirelessly to bring resources to open the Apollo Media Center, the Meriwether Library, Delavan Grider Community Center, and push for the construction of Tops-friendly markets on Jefferson Avenue. That was good. The city invested in the Michigan Street African American Heritage Corridor and funded East Side development projects. That was better. With the completion of the first 2 phases of the Northland Workforce Training Center, the construction of a massive mixed-use development on Jefferson Avenue, as well as tremendous city investment in Martin Luther King Jr. Park, we are not just talking about East Side investment and development, we are doing it. Recognizing the disparities in healthcare and education, I have also worked to ensure access to COVID-19 testing and vaccination sites, and have proudly worked with the Buffalo Public Schools to deliver meals and resources to students and helped establish virtual learning centers. We are Buffalo. It is often said that necessity is the mother of invention. One of the things that I am most proud of is the way in which our city has responded to these most challenging times. We started this pandemic forecasting a surplus in the city budget, a spring and summer of construction and innovation, energy and enthusiasm that would usher in our roaring 20s. When organizers canceled last year's St. Patrick's Day parade, it was clear that things were going to be different and that we were in for a tremendous challenge. When restrictions needed to be put in place to save lives and promote public safety, we set out clear rules and recommendations to keep our community safe. We transitioned our parks and public spaces and provided safe children's programming, including Buffalo Play Streets. That was good. We identified funding and mobilized our resources to shelter our homeless, partnered with Feed More to deliver food, and began a series of low-risk activities, including Winter Mission, our winter porch sports program that allows people to stay active. That was better. We have established a weekly virtual block chat, a bi-weekly Senior Connect conference call, have enlisted hundreds of volunteers through the Good Neighbor Network, and every Sunday I host my radio show, Talk of the Town, with Mayor Byron Brown to keep our residents safe, informed, and connected. That is what we do for each other in Buffalo. The bigger the challenge, the better our response. As the situation gets more grave and more serious, we innovate, collaborate, and facilitate solutions to problems and create a safety net in a time of crisis. When we are challenged, we unite, rally together, and exceed expectations. I have never been prouder of our city's workforce and first responders. And every single person who has contributed to our city's response to this global health pandemic for an entire year. Each of you have demonstrated in your own unique way how essential you all are to keeping our city safe and running. Everyone responds to challenges differently. Sometimes the response is a good one and life goes on. Sometimes the response is a little better and we don't just survive, we improve. And then there are those times in the face of great adversity and against great odds, we do not just get by or get a little better, we thrive and we grow and we reach levels that we didn't even think were possible. We don't stop, panic, or shrink from the challenge. We keep moving forward, steady and resolute in our belief that our best days are not just ahead of us, but within our immediate reach. Sometimes we're down, but we're never out. Sometimes things are grim, but we turn them around. Sometimes our problems seem insurmountable, but we figure them out, knowing that we are Buffalo. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless our great city of good neighbors.